Hi, so welcome everyone. I thought I would just create a couple of cards with this stamp set, which is a fantastic stamp set to start off your stamping life if you don't have a lot of um, stamp sets and things. It's because it's got thinking of you, happy birthday, thank you, cheers, best. It just covers all the sort of occasions that you might want. So when you look at stamp sets and you haven't got many, checking that the sentiments are something that you can use quite a bit is always a good start. And of course, flowers and a label. And it comes with a punch, which is really, really helpful. So just quickly, I'll grab my trimmer. Now the two card stocks that I use the most is the thick basic white. Now I use thick basic white for my card bases. It's really good to have a firm card base that you're building on. And the other card stock, the coloured card stock, that's thicker as well. So they are suitable for creating card bases. Now this one is just ordinary basic white, so that is really good for your matting or for anything like we're going to do the sentiment and then punching out, that sort of thing. It's a bit thinner, so perfect for that sort of thing. So to make your card base, I'm just going to, I'll get thick basic white. Now I tend to use, because I do tutorials and things like that for online tutorials, and I work with a lot of Americans and stuff. I didn't originally, but I work now with inches. So I'm going to show you centimeters, but if you ever watch anything of mine and the measurements aren't quite this, then you'll know what I'm talking about, because yeah, it was just so much easier. I've got to work in with them so everyone's the same. But so this is your A4 sheet. Okay, so if you want to maximize this for card making, you're going to just take this to, and let me just hang on. Sorry, I'll just get rid of that noise. Doink. There we are. Oh no, that's the wrong one. There we go. It was that one. Okay, so you turn it sideways, and if I was doing the inches, I would do it at 5.5, but I'm doing centimeters, so you're going to cut this at 14.85. Okay, that is going to maximize your cards to get the full amount off your card bases. You get 2 card bases from one A4. And then what I do to halve it, there's 2 ways. You can use this, which is just a scorer at halfway, or you can do it like this. I find this is what I tend to do because it gets it absolutely perfect every time. And then you just use your bone folder and you score. Okay, so keep it flat and score it across, and you get a nice crisp edge for your card base. Okay, so just using this now, I will show you one card style that you can do with this. Now, another thing I want to talk about is this is a photopolymer stamp set. This photopolymer is the clear stamp set, and we have 2 sorts. We have the photopolymer, and I'll just grab one. Blink. Nope. Okay. There we go. No, I've got lots of photopolymer. I'm trying to find a one that isn't. My goodness. No, not another one. Oh, hang on. Here's one. Yeah. So this stamp set is a foam, got foam in. So it's red rubber, and then it has the foam in behind the red rubber. So when you stamp, it's going to give you a nice crisp image because it's got that foam already. And these are called cling stamp sets. Okay, this is coming up in the new catalogue, this one. But these are called photopolymer, and they do not have the foam. So when you're using them, if you want to get a nice crisp image, this foam mat is something that you need to put underneath. It's really dense foam and it washes, so if you get ink on it, it doesn't matter. But it really does help get you that clear image. So we're going to just open our ink pads, which are you just flick them up, lie them flat and push it down. So when you ink up, you're just doing tap, tap, tap. Don't push into your ink pad as you get a real inky old mess. And we're just going to use the card base for this. So this gorgeous trellis fits in. So I'm using soft succulent for this. Obviously you just use whatever ink pads you have at home, and that goes in there perfectly. So I'm going to do another one on the inside. Tap, 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 and then don't press down too hard either when you stamp. It's just a firm pressure, but not too hard. Okay, so the next thing, going to get some Sweet Sorbet. This was last year's In Colours. We have a release of, we have 2 lots of In Colours rotating. We have, so every other year, so each set of In Colours of 5 colours lasts for 2 years, and every other year a new one comes in. So each year we get a new set of 5 colours, but they don't stay. Okay, so this is Sweet Sorbet. This got released this year. And Soft Succulent got released last year. So it is going to go next year. So another way to stamp, if you've got a big stamp like this, you can take the stamp pad to your stamp and ink it up like that. So it is actually easier to do it that way if you've got a big, that means you're going to get an even coverage. Okay, so we're just going to pop that like so. And just give it a good firm, because it's a big stamp. There we go. And next we're going to just, using the same colour, sorry, we are going to use this. This is a dotty one that's in the kit. So I'm just going to use a bit of scrap paper to show you stamping off. So stamping off is you ink up fully, then you stamp off. So stamped off once, twice, 3 times. That's what it looks like. Sometimes you don't want the full intensity of the colour. You want it a bit softer. So I'm going to stamp this off once, but then as I stamp, it's going to get lighter anyway. There we go. And then we are going to do the sentiment. So this is using just basic white. It's not using the thick basic white. Okay, so let's use this stamp. And this is an outline. And I'm going to use Happy Birthday. I'm going to do that in the same colour. I'm going to put that in the middle. And then, as I say, there's lots of gorgeous little stamps to add extra bits on that. Now I could have stamped that black. In fact, I should have stamped that black, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to add just this little decoration. Like so. I always close my ink pads because, yes, I've been known to put projects and papers and things in it. Okay. And then using a punch, turn it over so you can see the hole. Then line your bit of paper up in the hole, like that. I always go down a half push to look at it again before I go all the way, just to make sure I got it in the right place. There we go. And I'm going to use some dimensionals to pop that on. And this is just a really quick, easy card to make for a birthday card, or in the stamp set there is also a thank you stamp that you could use. Okay. Oops, it's not straight. There we are. As quick as that. Isn't it? That's so cute and so easy to do. Okay, so that's that one. Next I'm going to, we've got the 2 card bases. Where did I put the other one? Here it is. I'm going to just halve that. Now, matting. When you want to add a mat, and I'm going to do a white one from the basic white, it's always, well, you can change it depending if you want it to be a bigger or a smaller margin, but generally speaking it's 5 centimeters less. So this is so the card is 10, so if you look at the card it is 10 by 14 by the 14.85 that we did, and 10 centimeters, 10.5 centimeters, sorry. So 10.5 by the 14.85. So I'm going to take that down to 10. And then I'm going to take this down to 14.35. Okay. And that's going to be my mat, and this is what I'm going to want to work on to go on the front of my card. You, of course, can make that smaller if you want to, but we're going to just do it that for now. So what I'm going to do for this one, I am going to, I'm using a wet one. Normally I would use my chamois, but I put my chamois in bleach, and I put too much bleach in, so they're very odd now. If you clean your chamois, you're just supposed to put a drop in, just FYI. Okay, let's just stamp that up. Once again, I'll take my ink pad to my stamp because it's too big, and I will then just, I'll just give that a little bit more. And this is what you call stepping it up a little bit. So I'm doing that in the green. That's soft succulent again. Then I'm going to get another piece of paper, and I am going to stamp it in the, put that to one side, in Sweet Sorbet. to waste my paper, so I'll do it on that side. Okay. And then, after shutting my ink pad, I'm going to grab my scissors. Lucky I do have everything on hand. And I'm going to just cut out the flowers. So to use your scissors, this is called fussy cutting. What you do is you hold your scissors straight and you move your cardstock around. Okay, so if you've got something like this and it's quite big, you can just go round and trim it down a little bit before you can then go around and cut it all out. So I'm not going to cut them all out now because I've pre-cut them. That's the magic of TV. And I have got them here. So what I'm going to then do is glue them on to where they are here. So it's a way of getting your stamp to the stamp to have green leaves and coloured flowers, and it just gives it that added bit of dimension. Okay. Once again, it's pretty straightforward. Some crafters absolutely do not like fussy cutting. I don't mind it at all. I quite enjoy it. I think, yeah, I sometimes, even though I may have the die, I just sit there and fussy cut because I don't mind it. So, yeah, everyone has their own likes and dislikes. Okay, so this is the last one. Make sure I get it in the right place. That looks like, nope, maybe that one, that's it. Okay, that's just so cute. Now I have actually got some designer series paper. This suite comes with this beautiful paper. Let me just show you. This is just some of the sheets. Beautiful, beautiful sort of, it's called linen. What's it called? Just another little hint too, actually. It's called Lovely in Linen. And if you look at the back of your packets of DSP, then you'll find a list of the colours that have been used to create these papers, and that is such a fantastic guide if you're going to be using your DSP in a card and you want to coordinate your stamping. Then this is fantastic to look and see what you need, what inks would go best. And yeah, so this is the papers. I've got, there's 2 of each in each set, and they've got beautiful designs on the reverse as well. And there's one more actually. Where's that one gone? It's a nice pinky coloured one. Oh, this one. This one and this one. So there's some beautiful papers in there, absolutely stunning. So we're going to pop that on as well. I quite like having my things grounded, in the sense I don't like to have things just floating, so hence why I've popped that down there. Now I'm going to do the dotty stamp again. Oops, get it straight, Karen. Just pull it down a little bit, I think. About there. Okay, so I'm going to stamp off again. Stamping off once, and then it's quite good to rotate these stamps that you're stamping more than once as well. 2. There we go. Another one there. Right, and let's do another sentiment. we can use the rest of this paper. Now, the one good thing about doing this on a mat too, if you make a mistake on the card base and you're stamping directly on a card base, then if you make a mistake, you've used a whole card base. So just by making a little mat to go on top and stamping on there, if you make a mistake, you just need to get a new mat, or you flip it over and you use the reverse side. Okay, must have a bit of ink on my hands. So let's do a thank you this time. Where's my, I'm going to do the little frame again. And soft succulent. Here we go. And I'm going to do the thank you in Memento, the black. And I'm going to put it towards the bottom because I want to do a little stamp at the top. So, not thank you, this is thinking of you, sorry. Actually, I wanted to do thank you. I might get thank you out. So, another good thing to show you actually with mounting photopolymer stamps is thank you, where are you? Thank you, here we go. So always just drop your photopolymer stamp down so it's flat, and then it's not going to get warped when you put it on the block, and then take the block and then just press down and you've mounted your stamp. Okay, thank you this time. It's quite good to have a stash of thank you cards because sometimes you need one straight away. So if you've only got black, you can do the outline in black, whatever you have at home. Right, always put your lids back on. Okay, so there is this one here. Let me just see if it fits in all right. Yep. So this is another one of those little gorgeous stamps. And photopolymer are great stamps for lining things up because you can see exactly where things are. Okay. And I'm going to grab the punch again. So once again, upside down, feed it in, go down halfway. And we're going to pop that on dimensionals as well. Probably go about there. Oh, and I've just put some ink on there. It's all right, I've got a special ink removing rubber that I can use on that. And dimensionals. Well, the other thing is, which I haven't used here because I didn't want to sort of bombard you with too much, but embellishments are perfect for covering any little boo-boos that you might make on your stamping, like that. Bit of ink or a mistake, you just put a little gem on. Okay. And then I'm going to glue that onto my card base. There we go. And you have a beautiful thank you card. Now we're just going to, use a little bit of this. Just got to get that straight. That's the good thing about glue. I'm useless at putting on things straight, and glue gives me a little bit of extra time to maneuver it around. Okay, so I'm going to cut. I've got some here. Just going to pop this in, maybe a bit smaller. So it's another good use of designer series paper, is using them on the inside of your cards as well. And there you have another card, just stepped up just a little bit, having the leaves, green leaves, and the flowers a different colour. It's such an easy way to achieve that. So that's that card. I'll just show you some others. This is, they get everywhere, those dimensional backings. So that's just simpler on the front of the card, stamping basically, other than punching out your sentiment. This is on a mat with the two stamping twice in two different colours, using a bit of Designer Series paper. So this one would be the next step up. I've actually put one mat, Night of Navy, then some Designer Series paper, then made a smaller white mat that I've worked on, and I have stamped the flowers and cut them out and put them on separately. And then there's a stamp in the stamp set that has a little leaf, so I've used that and got a bow, and I've got some embellishments on it, so that's really cute as well. And so that's sort of like the next step up. And then this is just another one using basically the Designer Series paper in that sort of blue, those blue hues. I realised when I took out the Night of Navy, I haven't used Night of Navy for so long, and I do like it. So made something just with the Designer Series paper with 3 panels, and that's a lovely effect as well. Really great use of the Designer Series paper. And another thing that's really good with the stamp set, with this bundle too, is, or you can do it with any, using the Designer Series paper on the card as a whole. So this is a square card, and I do always use inches when I do a square card. I love square cards, and this is 3.5 by 7, and so when you fold it in half, it's 3.5 by 3.5, and then I have just used 3.5 by 3.5 of the Designer Series paper. Now I just also wanted to show you quickly, and I think I left one here, how to make your own little tag like this. See how it's got that tag there? Okay, so what you do is you just cut a little bit up the middle, depending on how big you want your tag. Then you go from the corner to the middle where you've cut, from that corner to that, and you've got your own flag. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you've got some ideas and inspiration about making some of these and making the most of this stamp set, and about card bases, etc. And please, ask any questions or anything you might want to know, and enjoy. Take care, and I'll see you again next month.